So you want to know how to make an OC. Trust me, I know where you're coming from. I've been drawing OCs for a very long time, like as long as I can remember. Now, I'm not an expert or anything at making OCs, but I know some people actually struggle with making them, and maybe my process will help you figure out how to make your own OC, whether it's like a one-shot OC that you draw down and you forget about until years later, or one that you have forever. Let's take a look at my process. It's a little bit more technical than you think. There are two key components for me. The first being is to invoke inspiration, and the second one is to draw. I know it seems really simple because there's only 2 steps, but just give me a minute to explain. Let's break it down. For one, invoking inspiration. To invoke something means, well, to call upon it. So, if we go out and we call for inspiration, we may or may not find it, I'm gonna be honest with you. So the best way to kind of handle invoking inspiration is for you to invoke it upon yourself, which means you have to go out and look for something to inspire you. So now the question is, what is inspiring? For me personally, it's honestly everything and anything, because I find the beauty in all things and I can make it work. But that's not the case for everybody because I'm super corny. So, where do we find some inspiration? This list always helps me figure out how to make an OC, so maybe it'll help you too. The first thing is finding inspiration from artists or their art in specific. Here's like some of the artists that I follow that really inspire me because their OCs are really personal or they just draw really well and their designs are amazing or incredible or just their art style is fantastic. I really like this person right here, Reno Tuna, because they take different items and then create OCs out of them, and I think that that's absolutely incredible that they do that. Another thing that inspires me a lot of the time is clothing and then certain aesthetics or specific styles. Personally, whenever I see someone wearing something that they love and they're happy in it, it makes me want to draw them. People or personalities in general, sometimes the way a person is altogether makes me really excited to draw a kind of character like them because I almost admire them, so that's how it works for me. Anything that gives you an emotional response, and let me explain what I mean by that. So sometimes looking at certain characters, whether it be my own or others, will invoke a nice little light in my brain. For example, Pumpkin Boy makes me feel a lot of joy, while Red over here makes me feel lust. Halfzilla makes me feel pride, and I don't have a name for him, but he makes me feel embarrassed because he's looking at me some type of way. So, each one gives me a different response. And finally, you, or what I meant by that was me? Yourself, basically. Don't be afraid to put characteristics in yourself in your characters. Like my OC Nikki, a lot of the time is based off of a lot of my own traits, if I'm honest. Maybe that's why he's my favorite OC. Maybe I'm a narcissist. I don't know, I'm kind of thinking about it now. Anyway, congrats, you made it to step 2. Now we can draw. Following my usual steps, I went ahead and kind of wrote everything out for you guys. Normally it's in my head. The artist I used as inspiration is myself, because I really liked the drawings that I looked back upon in making this video. The aesthetic I was kind of going for, and the kind of clothing palette was definitely cute clothes, bubblegum pink. I was feeling very light and airy, so I was like, why not? I wanted the character to be inviting and fun, and yeah, that's what I wanted to do. After sketching for a while and then finally inking, I came up with this character right here. The list that I use and that I honestly always use helped me put them together really nicely and kind of made one nice cohesive character, and I really liked the outcome. Please keep in mind that this is my process, and if it doesn't work for you, that's okay. That's kind of like the whole point of being an artist, is finding your process and seeing how things work. However, maybe mine can help you figure out how to do your own work as well, because sometimes I feel like processes aren't shared enough. Even though they're like shown, they're not really explained. And I struggled a lot with that, trying to figure out my own process because I didn't know how to put anything together. So hopefully me going in depth and explaining how I make my art will help you make your art, and hopefully it'll inspire you as well. Also, I do want to add that the list that I created is extremely, how do I say, what word? Hold on, let me look up the right word. Okay, so the best word I could find was inclusive. The list was made to be as inclusive as possible, meaning that these categories that I discussed can be for any gender, any sexuality, or anything of any sort. You can make any kind of character just based on those attributes. They don't have to be specific to anything at all, but you can make them specific to what you need to depending on what kind of OC you want to make. OCs can be very personal for some people. I know, like, I have my OC Nikki, and he's been with me for a very long time, and he's a comfort character, and I honestly love that I have a character like that, and I have many more, I just haven't shown them all. And then I also have characters that I've just drawn 1 time, 2 times, and then I kind of just leave them drifting off into the wind, which is totally okay, because sometimes it's just nice to practice your art muscle and create different characters so you don't get stale whenever you draw new ones in the future. I'd like to also say that I really think you shouldn't pressure yourself when it comes to making an OC. Just let it come to you, and eventually they will form. I know that sounds weird, but when I started out drawing Nikki, I was like in 7th grade, and later on throughout the years, his looks got to where I wanted them to be, and so did the personality that I formed for him. So just be really patient with your characters, because over time, you yourself change as a person. So things that you want to make in your character might not stay the same, or maybe they do, but they get better in certain ways. So be patient not only with the OC that you're drawing, but be patient with yourself, because you go through the process of learning and becoming a better artist throughout the years too. One thing I definitely want to talk about is if you have an artist that you really like and their work really inspires you and you really want to learn how to draw like them, go ahead and practice it, honestly. Like, don't worry about it along the lines, as long as you're not completely copying that artist, like 100 billion% and then taking characters that they do and then claiming them as yours, because that's wrong, then you're fine. If you want to sit there and practice the way some artists do their eyes or their heads or their hands or whatever that they do, please go ahead and try it out for yourself. Through the exploration of other artists' art, you will find your own art. Because the way we draw isn't just out of nowhere. It comes from different parts and places that, we take in. So like a lot of manga that I grew up reading ended up kind of looking like my art today, and it formed it and shaped it in a certain way. So look at like artists that you like and then really study their art and then see how you want to take it towards there. And then from there, maybe that'll help you create your OC as well, because if you want your OC to look a certain way, then maybe it'll help form that character a little bit better as well. That being said, if you look at my art, and I'm giving you full permission, if you look at any of my art and you find something on a character that you like or you want to try out for yourself, please go ahead and try it. The whole point of me even making this channel is so I can inspire you guys, and hopefully maybe even make your art better or just make you love art more in general. So if something that I do on a character really interests you and you don't know if you can ask or do it or anything like that, please go ahead and do it. Art is for everybody, and not one thing belongs to one specific person. If it's a character that they created, yeah, I can completely understand that. Like, I made Nikki, and I feel like he's very personal OC for me, so if someone took him away, that would be kind of hurtful. I'd be mad hurt, I'm not gonna lie. But if I have a bunch of OCs and a lot of them have some traits that you like and you want to try and study it, or you want to try and draw it like the way I do or whatever, please go ahead and try it. Explore your artist inside of you. I know that sounds like mad corny right now, but genuinely, I want you to have fun in your art process. Don't pressure yourself. If you want to make an OC and you look at characters and you love the OC and everything like that, go ahead and do it, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise, honestly. I honestly feel like we shouldn't, like, put a whole pause on this or whatever just because someone draws a certain way. So yeah, just honestly have some fun with it, try your best, and I believe in you, so you've got my support. Anyway, Thanks for watching, and remember I love you. Bye.